Okay, the idea that people will do anything just to fit in and not feel like an outcast is a no-brainer. Like, we all have been taught about peer pressure, but we didn't always know about peer pressure, otherwise known as conformity. So in 1951, there was a guy named Solomon Asch, and he created a study about conformity because he wanted to know just how influential this desire to fit in and be like those around us really had on our lives. His hypothesis was that if conformity, or our desire to conform, is as powerful as he thinks, then he, as a researcher, should be able to manipulate someone's behavior by using group pressure. So what he did was he had a group of 8 people come in, and there were 2 flashcards. Flashcard A, which just has 1 line on it, and then flashcard B with 3 lines, all varying in length. So he asked the participants to determine which line on flashcard B is the same length as the one on flashcard A, which is a pretty easy thing to do, right? So in the specific study given in the book, there were 3 rounds. Okay, the first round, everybody got it right. Yay! The second round, everybody got it right, but the third round came around, and the first person chose the wrong line. It's not a complicated test. And then the second person chose the wrong line. All the way up, the 1st through 7th people chose the wrong line, and they chose the same wrong line. And so when it got to the last person, the 8th person, he was like, am I crazy? Like, this is not hard to figure out. How did they all do it wrong? And so he was faced with a lot of pressure to conform, and he had to decide, do I choose the correct answer that I know is right in my heart, or do I do what the rest of the group is doing because they're probably doing it for a solid reason, right? And as you've probably guessed, the first 7 people were in on the study, right? They knew what was going on, but it's the last person that was being tested. Now, these tests were done both verbally and written. And in the tests that were written, 98% chose the correct answer. Okay, and in the tests that were spoken aloud, 75% chose the wrong answer, and they conceded to what everybody else was doing, okay? And so this proved that conformity really does have a huge impact on the decisions that we make. This study was super significant for 2 similar reasons. The first is that it was never done before, right? This was the first study that really demonstrated the power of conformity. And the second is that, again, this study was never done before, so it was groundbreaking, and it really paved a path for future researchers to conduct studies and really work to deepen their understanding of how conformity impacts our lives on a daily basis. A real-life application. The first thing that came to my mind, us as Adventists, we have our Vespers, we have our worships, church, right? We have all these worship services, and sometimes you sing a song and they ask you to stand, and so you stand and everybody's singing, and it's good. And then you sit down, they might pray or, I don't know, just talk for a little bit, and then they'll just start singing without telling you to stand. And so everybody's just sitting down in the pews, and it's like this awkward sort of tension. And then you see somebody, like in the front row usually, stands up. And then you see another person over there, and another person over there. And eventually it's just this pressure to conform. For some people, no matter how tired they are, this is me personally, no matter how tired I am, if I don't feel like standing, I will stand just because everybody else is doing it, right? Like, I can't help it. It's just like this strong desire to conform. This kind of result that he found in the studies isn't something that just happens inside of scientific, calculated studies. This is something that happens in the real world all the time, because our desire to conform is just that powerful.